Good evening, everyone. We're glad to have you today. In today's session, we're going to talk about a regional project we're going to implement in Kayonza. It's a hospital construction, and this hospital is going to help Paris work on the Rwanda 2050 vision and also on the SDGs, where we're going to implement good health and well-being. So the purpose of our project is initially to enhance access to quality health services in the region, but mainly the hospital will be built in Kayonza district. This will help reduce the time the patient were using to access already current established hospitals. As the hospital will be more specialized, we're going to have surgical services, we're going to have a more equipped emergency care section, we're going to have a more advanced and healthier maternity health. This project is really going to improve the life of people in the region and Kayonza district as such. As I mentioned earlier, not only are we going to be working on the Rwanda Vision 2050, but also we'll be working on the Sustainable Development Goals, where the one that tap into health, good health and well-being. So I can invite my colleague to carry on with the next.
All right, good evening to everybody. Let me continue from where my colleague has stopped from. I'm going to talk about the theory of change, and in theory, we're going to talk about inputs, we're going to talk about activities, we're going to talk about outputs, outcomes, impact, then we go on with the assumptions. So we start by with the inputs. With inputs, we're going to talk about financial resources, where we are talking about government and donor funds. That's where we're going to, that the financial resources can be got from. Then we have land, we have construction, we have materials, we have skilled labor and medical equipment. The second one is activities, which is land acquisition, hospital design and construction, staff recruitment and training, procurement of equipment. Then we have outputs, where we have fully functional hospital with adequate infrastructure and medical personnel. Then with the outcomes, we are going to talk about increased access of healthcare services, reduced travel time for patients, improved maternal and child health outcomes. Then with the impacts, we are going to talk about improved population health and strengthened healthcare system, resilience contributing to economic development. Then with the assumptions, as we conclude, it's adequate funding, timely construction, availability of skilled labor, and favorable environmental conditions. Thank you. Let me call upon my colleague to continue from there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, my colleague. Good evening. I'm come up with project description. So this project involves the design, construction, and operationalization of a 1,000-bed regional hospital in Rwanda to serve an estimated population of 6 million people. So the scope includes construction of physical infrastructure. These are wards, theaters, diagnostic labs, ICU administration block. The next one is procurement of medical equipment, such as X-rays machine, surgical kits, beds. The third one is recruitment and training of healthcare professionals. So the last one is integration of digital health systems for patient data management. So the estimated duration is 36 months and estimated cost is USD 200 millions. So next slide. So after 18 months, we conducted what we call midterm evaluation, and we compiled a report. So in the midterm evaluation has presented different risks regional hospital construction project is facing, including land acquisition delays, where only 70% of the required land parcels are secured. Negotiations with landowners remain unsolved for the remaining 30%. This is causing delays in foundation works and site clearance. Another risk is skilled labor shortage. Shortage of specialized labor in medical equipment installers and structural engineers has caused 15% schedule slippage on ICU construction. Adverse weather impact. Unexpected heavy rains during the last 2 quarters caused flooding and disrupted site work, increasing cost by 8%. The midterm evaluation indicates that the project is approximately 30% behind schedule. Additionally, only 65% of committed funds have been disbursed to date, leading to ongoing cash flow challenges. While overall expenditure is currently 20% above the planned budget, this reflects cost increases rather than accelerated progress, as the project still remains behind schedule. Thank you. Let me call upon my colleague to continue with risk identification. Thank you.
Thank you, my colleague. And we are going to see the risk identification. As we all know, there are some risk identification techniques, and I'm going to talk about Delphi technique. Delphi technique is like a way to find out possible risks in a project by asking experts for their opinions. Delphi involves consulting a panel of experts like engineers, project managers, health officials to anonymously identify risks, consolidating responses, and reaching consensus through multiple rounds. Application to hospital project. Experts were asked what major risks could affect the successful completion of this hospital project. This is the first question you can ask the expert. Round 1, response. Delays in land acquisition due to compensation disputes. Shortage of skilled construction workers. Delays in donor fund disbursement. Round 2, consensus. High-risk items. Land acquisition delays, funding delays, procurement challenges for medical equipment. Thank you, and let me call another colleague to continue.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. Under risk identification, as we proceed for the second method, which is Ishikawa fishbone diagram, this is mainly about identifying the root cause of such risks. And Ishikawa has a specialty of focusing on specific areas. For this time, it is a 4M, which is man, machine, method, and materials. For this regional hospital risk identification, we decided to consider people, process, environment, material, and equipment. Where people are risk-associated identification is labor shortage and skilled labor inaccessibility, mainly for this project that require like installation of the ICUs that require specific competence. Under the process, there is a slow approval process where like the Ministry of Health can take a long time to approve such procurement plan. We have also environment risk that goes mainly with heavy rain and flooding. The location of the hospital was mainly in the place where heavy rain can affect the construction. Materials, there is a shortage of cement and procurement delays. This is mainly because most of the material are coming abroad, so this take a long time to process it and then have it on site. Other sector of equipment as challenge, there's machinery breakdown and lack of spare parts. There are some machine that is already accessible, but when the hospital need to replace one spare part to another one, is hard to get it. It mainly require to buy a whole machine. So in a brief risk and fight from this Ishikawa fishbone diagram include flooding during heavy rain, labor shortage, and procurement delay for medical equipment. As a conclusion of this presentation, and of course, next step, it was identified that through the FIT technique and Ishikawa fishbone diagram, critical risk that was identified is mainly land acquisition, funding gap, flooding, labor shortage, and procurement delay that have impacted the project to be completed in due time. You have understood that the budget have already used over 20% of the budgeted amount. So next step as a recommendation is risk assessment to fully understand which amplitude that risk is having in terms of probability of occurring and impact that it might have on the project. We can also do risk mitigation planning to understand what should be done for these specific risks, and also monitoring and controlling mechanism where we should be having this risk in the risk register and conduct regular review meeting with stakeholders from different aspects. So moving from risk identification to assessment, mitigation, and monitoring, it is clear that the project team would achieve expected outcome by having the fully functional hospital in Eastern region that will be located in Kayonza district. So thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. We hope that you have fully information that can guide each of us to identify risks and respond to it successfully. Thank you.